What up? It's your boy, the Incredible Ben, and yes, I am back at it again. And this is my discussion / review for Black Clover episode 128, and it was so fantastic. I love Black Clover, man. This episode, we see the Heart Kingdom versus the Clover Kingdom, and we see Asta, Noel, Mimosa all going ham. We see Finral putting in work. We see Nero coming to the aid of Asta. Okay, then we learn all this other new stuff. Let's get into this episode, man.
Just take it, don't wait for someone to break it. Take control, then don't just take it. Hey, you can make it happen. You just gotta take some action. Take the ship and be the captain.
Yes, man, this episode was absolutely wonderful, man, because it just went ham. It just went right after it. And honestly, it done the exact same thing in the manga. It just went straight into it, and I love that. The first part of this episode was a little informative and a little lax at the same time, and then it dove right into all the greatness. Not knocking everything else that happened first, but let's talk about it, then we'll go into it. To the other stuff. So this episode started, and we see Asta and everybody coming back from their trip to Gordon's parents' house, and Asta's telling Yami that, we have to go to the Heart Kingdom. The Heart Kingdom is where we saw the biggest flame of the Akamas curse, and that's where we're going to go to try to get information. And Yami was like, well, okay, that's good. So he was like, well, where's Gordon? What does Gordon have to say about everything? He decided to stay behind and learn some more curses from his father. And so now we have Yami telling Finral to take Asta and Noel to the Golden Dawn headquarters because they need to find information about how to get into the Heart Kingdom, because they can't get in illegally, because if they cross the borders, there's some magic stuff that's going to alert them if they even tamper with it or cross the borders illegally. So they have to find a way to get in legally, and the only way they could do that is through Mimosa, because Mimosa went there on like a royalty, like an exchange program type thing with her brother. So they go to the Golden Dawn base, and Finral was excited to go because he wanted to talk to his brother. And I love this episode because we focused on Finral and Langris's relationship, and we know it was always strained, and when the elf took over his body, it was even more strained, and it was playing on all of the emotions he had pent up against Finral. So it kind of all just came to a head during the Elven arc. But this episode, they're not going to be like best friends or anything, but we can definitely tell that they're working on a relationship to become brothers. And we see Finral standing up for himself and making all these grandiose statements about him and Miss Finnis. So it was nice to see that, and we see Langris telling him, well, you're cursed too, brother, okay? Because you can't help yourself but be a playboy around all these different women. So we got to see a connection between Finral and Langris, and that's always wonderful, especially knowing their past. So seeing them at a moment where they can hold an actual conversation with each other was absolutely wonderful, man. So then we come in contact with Yami's telling everybody about the boat. They jump straight into them already having the boat on and going on their way to the Heart Kingdom. So then Yami starts to tell everybody, yeah, I threatened Mushroom Head. I talked to Mushroom Head to give you guys a boat. So they're going to get the boat, and they got the boat, and they're headed to the Heart Kingdom. Then we also see Vanessa, Magma, and Luck there, and they decide to go on their little journey as well. I want to touch on some of this stuff, but it's definitely spoiler territory, and I don't want to dive into that just yet until we get there. So let's just say they're going on their journey. That's all it is to it. Those three are going on their own journey. So we have Asta, Mimosa, Finral, and Noel going on their journey to the Heart Kingdom, and they're going and going, and we see Finral kind of losing his stuff because he's trying to not hit on girls at the same time, because he's not trying to because he wants to marry Miss Finnis-sama, and he knows what Langris told him, and like, if you can't get this under control, I'll marry her. So he's trying to get that under control. He was like, how can I, with Nero and Noel and Mimosa on the boat with me? Then we have Noel and Mimosa kind of fawning over Asta a little bit. Both of them are a little jealous of each other, and then boom, bam, we're in the Heart Kingdom, and they have to get past this fog and everything else. So they get there, then they come in contact with this dude named Gaia or Gaja, and he knows Mimosa from her very first visit, and Mimosa knows him, and he's taking them up and telling them, and we kind of go into like an in-depth thing about the whole village, that the queen of the Heart Kingdom formed a contract with a water spirit, and all of the water and trees and everything that's surrounding the Heart Kingdom, she's connected to it, so she always knows what's going on with the whole kingdom, because the whole kingdom is within her mana zone. And thinking back and learning about the mana zone the way we did, it's like, wow, that is actually legit. But it also ties into the water spirit's power, because we've seen spirit's powers plenty with so with wind spirit. So we know that they're super strong. So all of a sudden the dude gives them some juice and they're drinking and they're just enjoying their journey. Oh wow, it's such a beautiful kingdom. And the Heart Kingdom does look beautiful. It does look very beautiful. But then all of a sudden, boom, bam, some water wraps around Asta and just shoots him off to the other side of the island or the kingdom, and he goes into this big dark hole. Then we go back and we see Mimosa, Noel, and Finneral going ham. They start to chase Asta. We see Finneral launching out his spatial magic like a boss. And Gaja mentioned something that that was actually, if you didn't cause see, I read it in the manga. If you didn't know, the Heart Kingdom, and they broke it down in this episode, the Heart Kingdom rates their magicians or mages on a different scale. Theirs is ranked from 0, I think, to maybe like 5th tier, 9th tier. Oh, anyway, it's like the range is from 0, I want to say to 9, I think, and 0 being the highest, and I think maybe like 9 being the lowest or something. I have to watch it again, but I think that's the gist of it. And so like you got some 3rd tier. Why I keep saying tiers, not tiers. It's something else, but you catch my drift. And we see Gaja mentioning that when he sees Noel and Finneral and everybody using their powers, and their magic, and he mentions that, oh wow, that's 5th tier, that's 3rd tier, and everything. So he mentions that, and then we kind of go, and later into the episode, the water spirit kind of breaks it down when she mentions that Asta doesn't have any magic, so he's like the lowest tier. So then we get into a full-fledged fight between Gaja, Noel, Mimosa, and Finneral, and then Asta is fighting the water spirit as of right now. Both at the same time. We don't see it at the same time, but like we get a fight here with Noel and everybody. Then we go and we see glimpses of Asta's fighting as well. Then the dude starts to get the better of them because he's launching his magic, but he's also controlling the runes. So this fight just went whole epically. Everything about it was nice. At this moment, the whole episode shifted. Like everything else was like, okay, so we're directly heading into a new arc. Everything's fine and dandy. We're getting some information. Things are popping off, and then boom, bam, thank you, ma'am. Stuff went off, and then it's a full-fledged fight on both sides of the kingdom. And with this taking place, we get to see the magic of the Heart Kingdom, and we get to see the greatness that is the Clover Kingdom, man. And they both went in, and Asta was kind of getting his butt beat, even though he used his black form and he was using his anti-magic. They wanted to capture Asta because they want to capture the devil or whatever that he has. Now, in that moment, when they capture Asta and lock him up underwater, and Asta can't breathe, he can't escape, you're like, oh wow, no, what's gonna happen? Nero shows up, and Nero comes in, and the Clover Kingdom doesn't only rely on it's not tier. I can't think of what it is, what they said. I can't remember, but the Black Clover magic can't be scaled on that point. And then she comes in, she frees Asta. The water spirit's like, oh, no, I know this magic. But she's like shocked that Asta's free. Asta comes through and he's coming molly-whopping. And he was like, I can sense someone over there. So if all the magic's here, there's someone over there. Asta comes through and he busts in. And come on, it was so epic. I can't contain. I love Black Clover, man. Then we still have the fight going on with Gaja and Noel and everybody, and he launched this huge attack to try to defeat them, but then he was like, well, I can't sense them or see them anymore. So what happened? And the next thing you know, we see Mimosa using her what is it? Flower tower or whatever, where she can see the guidepost, where she can see everything. And Finneral can use that to launch his spatial magic, because Finneral uses his spatial magic like a boss, because he had to learn that way because he wasn't always an attacker. And he just used his spatial magic because his spatial magic wasn't like Langris's. His was strictly, he can make stuff disappear and go here and go there. That's all he could really do. But now he's gotten the other spells where he can attack, and fighting with Asta and Vanessa and everybody, he learned a different side of himself. So now we get to see Finral using his spatial magic to attack. And then Noel launches the water sea dragon. She's in the Valkyrie armor. So much is going down, man. This is epic, and this is just starting the arc. This whole thing finna go ham in this arc. So you anime only watchers, stay tuned and be prepared, because stuff is going down, man. I know I was rambling a little bit and I was all over the place because I was just so excited. I couldn't contain my excitement because it was just so good. It was straight out the manga. It was animated. The animation was wonderful. The colors everything was on point this episode, and it was just like a teaser fight. Come on, man. This was epic. I loved every single minute of it, man. This is your boy, Incredible. Don't forget to smash the like button if you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them, and subscribe. But only if you really want to, man. And remember, the anime matters. Anime is greatness, and anime is life, man. Peace out.
Are we gonna play now? Ready for the show? I'm about to take down, you already know. Get the fuck out of my face now, yeah, you got it.